Hello friends, it's me, Shin, and today I'm coming to you from the south side of the Las Vegas Valley where I'm checking out Spaghetty Western for the first time. Super happy to have you along. Let's head inside. Alright everyone, and here we are seated at the Spaghetty Western. Now Spaghetty Western is a restaurant that was recommended to me in the comments of a previous video, and this restaurant is located in the southern Highlands portion of the valley, roughly 9 miles south of the center of the Las Vegas Strip. Transported into something like a Western saloon, you've got a full service bar and a lot of memorabilia and posters on the wall, paying homage to the namesake Spaghetty Western. A very cool vibe indeed here. However, you know it's all about the food for me, so let's take a look at what they have to eat. Alrighty, so we have two menus here at the Spaghetty Western. Here's the first. These are their list of sandwiches. Let's take a look. Prosciutto and fresh mozzarella, caprese salad, or a caprese sandwich rather. Chicken, Philly cheesesteak. Yeah, this all looks really good. And then here is your main menu here. It's actually very heavy and leather bound. That's very nice. Take a look inside. Here's your list of appetizers here. You've got your calamari, your shrimp scampi, meatballs, fettuccine. Oh, charbroiled garlic bread. That sounds really good. Here are your salads and soups down here. Yeah, very nice. And then we have a list of classic pastas. Looks like you can get a choice of pasta with a little bit of an upgrade cost for gnocchi, pappardelle, and cavatelli. I see. And cheese tortellini, lobster ravioli. So all these premium raviolis, or rather these premium pastas, cost $4.95 extra. And then you have some protein options here as well. And then all of the different sauces that you can try. That looks really good. And then pasta specials. I guess these are kind of like the pre-mades for you. So that all looks really good. We'll make sure we try a couple of those. And on to the next page. Let's take a look. Chicken and veal. And then we have some seafood and pizzas down here. Let's see here. Ooh, cioppino sounds kind of good today. Maybe I'll get in on that. Pizza's always good. I'm always in the mood for pizza. We have a kids menu here as well. And then desserts and soft drinks down here. Is this the whole menu? I believe. Yep, that's the menu. A really good looking Italian menu here at Spaghetty Western. A lot of dishes I want to try today because you know how it goes in my videos. Every restaurant is a buffet if you're willing to pay. So I'm going to get a nice variety. Together we'll see what this restaurant's all about. Appetizers are coming up first. I'll see you in a little bit when they arrive. Welcome back everyone. Now my appetizers just got here and this is looking great. Let me give you a view. I got their calabrese style calamari and shrimp as well as their meatballs, some fettuccine as well as a fried mozzarella. This is all looking really good. Let's give it a try. First up, the calabrese style calamari. Let's give it a shot. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. A very nice crispy fry to the exterior of that calamari. It's been hand breaded and so it has a bit of a rustic texture, but still a very light and airy fry there. I actually like that quite a bit. A decent texture to the calamari inside as well. It's soft, not too chewy. A good cook on the calamari. I'd say this is also a very well seasoned calamari. In general, a pretty solid product here. There is a little bit of a lingering heat in the aftertaste, but I was definitely expecting much more spice. That is a little curious. We'll try dipping it into the accompanying tomato sauce here, and we give this a shot as well. Okay, yes, that's very good. Now I actually got the spice in that particular round of the calamari. I think it was because it was sitting on top of the peppers here. Much more heat in the middle of the bite there. That was actually pleasant. I like that quite a bit. Their tomato sauce is very sweet. Not sweet in the traditional sense with sugar, but much more of a natural sweetness. I typically prefer much more savory tomato sauces for appetizers like this. The tomato sauce actually works kind of well with the additional spice coming from the calamari here. Not a bad appetizer. I do like that one. Next up, this is the fettuccine or their garlic bread. Nicely toasted grilled garlic bread here, topped with parsley and some kind of cheese. Let's give it a try. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. I'm really liking the texture of this particular garlic bread. You have a little bit of a crisp on the exterior, however it is still very soft in the center. where you have a little bit more of that Maillard reaction from the grill marks. It does provide more of a smoky flavor, but all of that really lays way to the taste of the garlic and butter here. A very nice richness to this bread. They were generous with the butter, and there's an additional saltiness coming from the cheese on top. Let's go ahead and dip it into some of the sauce here, and let's give this a taste. Yeah, you know what, not bad. Now I feel like this is an instance where the more savory sauce would be much more welcome for me personally, whereas the spicy and sweet work a little bit well together for my personal palate. This particular garlic bread for me wants much more savory flavors. I actually don't even know if this bread needs the sauce. That buttery cheesy flavor is pretty good on its own and becomes much more of an aftertaste if you go in with the dipping sauce. Not bad though, this is a good garlic bread here. Next up, meatball. A classic Italian appetizer. I'd say the meatball is a pretty good indicator of an Italian restaurant. You know, I certainly love my meatballs, and the one here at Spaghetty Western is looking pretty good. Let's see how it is. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. This meatball is so moist. There's an excellent cook, very meaty, so satisfying to eat. While typically I prefer something like a pan fry or a sear to get some initial Maillard reaction before going in for the bake, I don't mind the lack of it here on these meatballs. I want to say that the sauce is much more cooked down than the previous dipping sauces, so while not necessarily savory, it's much less sweet in nature. And that's working really well with this meatball because it's very savory. I think they have an excellent ratio of breading to meat, just enough breading to provide structure to the meatball, but much more of an emphasis on the amount of meat here. I really like that. The meatball is so well seasoned. A very flavorful meatball here. Yeah, that meatball's pretty good. I like that one. Alrighty, and the last appetizer I'm trying today is the fried mozzarella. This is probably the easiest call of my life that this was hand breaded here at the store. In fact, I don't think anything has been frozen and pre-packaged here. A really nice feel to this mozzarella stick. Let's see how it is. Oh yeah, that's actually really good. A very satisfying crunch to these mozzarella sticks. I'm actually in love with the texture. The cheese inside is mild but rich. While not the craziest cheese pull I've ever seen, that's mostly just for show. I actually do like the flavors here. A very well seasoned batter. There's an emphasis on the floral note from thyme here. That's actually really nice for this mozzarella. I actually like this quite a bit. This is one of the better fried mozzarellas I've had. We'll go ahead and dip it into some of the sauce here, and we give it a shot. Oh yeah, that's quite good. Now we're kind of back to that sweet sauce. I'm not entirely sure how I enjoy it on this particular appetizer. I think this is probably another instance where I would prefer a much more savory sauce. Okay, actually, you know what? I have an idea. I'm gonna go and try dipping it in the sauce with the meatballs and see how this is. I would say that's my preference. Because the tomato sauce with the meatballs have been cooked down a little bit further as they've baked, have a little bit more of that sweet flavor cooked out, reducing the liquid and intensifying the tomato flavors, works so much better with this mozzarella stick for me. But in general, I'd say I actually do like the appetizers here. Not bad at all. Alright everyone, now that does it for this appetizer round. I'm going to go and continue working on this and get a couple of boxes to go because we're going to go in on some entrees next. Don't go anywhere, I'll be right back. Welcome back everyone. Now my pasta entrees just got here and this is looking great. Let me give you a view. I got their spaghetti bolognese, as well as fettuccine alfredo with grilled chicken, an order of their lasagna, and a lobster ravioli dish with pink vodka sauce. This is all looking really good. Let's give it a try. First up, spaghetti bolognese. A very meaty looking spaghetti bolognese here, and I've got a nice amount on the fork. Let's give it a shot. Oh yes, very good. A nice firm spaghetti noodle here. Maybe slightly past al dente, but it still has a firm texture. A good cook to those noodles. I really like the bolognese sauce here. It's incredibly rich and meaty, and you definitely get the flavors of that red wine reduction in the middle of the bite. Very nice grounded flavors here. You definitely get the mirepoix. You can actually see the bits of chopped up carrots in here. A very savory bolognese sauce here. It's been properly cooked down, giving it a very intense and rich flavor. Yeah, I like this quite a bit. This is a very good spaghetti bolognese. Next up, let's try the lasagna. Got a nice slice on the fork here. Let's see how it is here at Spaghetti Western. You know, I'd say that's just okay. Now you've got some pretty good elements here. This cheese on the top has such a fantastic bake to it. A little bit of a smoky flavor coming from the toast job on it. It's very flavorful. Unfortunately for me, I would say this lasagna is a bit dry. I'm not sure if it's been in the oven for too long, but I would certainly prefer a much more moist lasagna. The flavors are very concentrated here. Unfortunately, it's to the point where it's almost a bit too salty. While I do see the tiny ricotta layer, unfortunately you don't get a lot of that cooling or richness. It's quickly overwhelmed by the saltier meat sauce here. While it's not bad, it's certainly not the best lasagna I've ever had. I think I'd probably skip on this the next time. Next up, fettuccine alfredo with chicken. A classic American-Italian dish here. I don't actually know if this has its roots in Italy, but there's actually a very pungent aroma coming off of this. Let's see how it is. Okay, yes, that's actually very good. Similar to the spaghetti, it's not exactly al dente, but still a nice firm chew to these fettuccine noodles. We've got a good cook to the noodles here. It's a tasty fettuccine. I actually really like their alfredo sauce here. Oftentimes, alfredo sauces are just pure heavy cream and cheese, and it makes for a very dense sauce. However, the one here at Spaghetty Western, while it maintains its richness, it's a little bit more light. You don't just have all of these noodles drowning in pure cream. The sauce still has a nice salty and rich flavor though. I'm actually a really big fan of this alfredo sauce. Despite its looks, the chicken is actually very moist. This might be some of the most moist grilled chicken I've ever had. Excellent cook to it. You've got a little bit of that smoky flavor on the outside. Goes very well with this pasta dish. I actually really like this one. This is good fettuccine alfredo. Alright everyone, now the last dish I'm trying from this first round of pasta is going to be their lobster ravioli. This is served in a pink vodka sauce, along with some shrimp. There's a very pungent aroma coming off of this dish. Let's see how it is. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. I'd say a pretty decent cook to the pasta here. It might be a tad over, it is a little bit softer than I would prefer it to be. I really do like this pink vodka sauce. It's quite pungent in flavor, it's not exactly what I was expecting. There's a very aromatic cheese flavor about it. I will say it is pretty enjoyable. The sauce is a tad on the saltier side, but it is creamy and rich, and you definitely get the natural flavors of the tomato of this pink vodka sauce. Unfortunately, I don't taste too much of the lobster inside of the ravioli. While the lobster itself does have a nice texture, unfortunately its flavors are a bit muted here. I think I get a little bit of its sweetness in the aftertaste, but it's not all too present. It's not bad, I actually really like the pink vodka sauce. I might try that over a different pasta next time. Alright everyone, now that's the first round of entrees. I'm going to continue working on this and then we're going to pack it to go because we're going round number 2. Don't go anywhere, I'll be right back. And welcome back everyone. My second round of entrees are here and this is looking great. Let me give you a view. We got their pepperoni pizza as well as their Philly cheesesteak, and I also got their salmon entree. This is all looking really good. Let's give it a taste. First up, pepperoni pizza. I mean, this is a pretty staple classic in a lot of Italian places, right? Let's see how it is. Okay, yeah, that's really good. A very soft and airy crust. It's almost flaky. While I usually prefer a little bit of a density in my crust, I actually really like how airy this one is. They've certainly let the crust proof. There's a lot of developed flavor here, with a little bit of a smoky flavor coming from the char on the crust. It's actually quite good. The tomato sauce here is so good. I'm not sure if this is the same tomato sauce that they had earlier as dips for those appetizers, but we have a much more savory and zesty sauce here in the pizza. There's a really rich cheese here, although the flavors are a bit mild, which is perfect because these pepperonis are magnificent. A little bit spicy, very salty, and a lot of savory flavor. There's a nice amount of oregano on this pizza. It provides a very beautiful woodsy note, a little floral in nature. It's very good. I actually like this a lot. This is really good pizza. Next up, the Philly cheesesteak. They had a handful of sandwiches available here, and my server recommended that I try the cheesesteak. It's absolutely massive. Let's see how it tastes. Yeah, you know what, not bad. A very toasty and crunchy bread here. I actually wish it was a little bit airier. It doesn't have a lot of give, making biting down into the sandwich very difficult. That said, there is a nice rich flavor. There's been a lot of butter applied. It's not a bad bread. I've got some mixed feelings on the steak here. It is relatively tender and has a good beefy flavor. Unfortunately, it's a bit over-seasoned. It's much too salty and it does leave a bit of an aftertaste. That's definitely unfortunate because the cook on the steak is actually quite good. A nice richness from the cheese here, and a good cook to the vegetables. Very well caramelized onions and peppers, providing their trademark sweetness as well as a little bit of that spicy heat. You have some mushrooms in here, providing a bit of earthiness as well. And in general, it's actually a pretty good sandwich. I just wish that the seasoning on the steak wasn't so overpowering. Now, when you order a sandwich, you have your choice of sides between soup, salad, and french fries. I went with french fries here today. Let's see how these are. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. A very nice crispy French fry here with a very pillowy center. I commend the cook on these fries. You have a little bit of that potato starch on the exterior, providing additional crunch. Absolutely love that technique for fries. These fries have also been well seasoned. There's also a little bit of additional flavor coming from the parsley and cheese, a little bit of that floral note, as well as that salty pungent flavor coming from the Parmesan. Not bad at all, solid French fries here. Alright everyone, now the last entree we're going in on today is their salmon. You can get this served grill or puttanesca style, which is a tomato-based topping with Mediterranean influence. I went ahead and got that puttanesca style. Let's see how this is. Oh yeah, not bad. A pretty good cook to this fish. A flaky, moist interior with a nice bit of a crispy exterior, a good grill to this fish. Very similarly to the cheesesteak, I think the salmon's been a bit over-seasoned. It leans very salty. Not a bad base fish though. The puttanesca sauce is quite good. A bit of a tangy, smoky flavor there. Natural sweetness coming from the tomato. And there's a nice amount of acidity here. I want to say there's a good squeeze of lime or lemon. The sauce is also very garlicky, and it does complement the flavors of the salmon. Not a bad salmon dish, just a little less seasoning. I think this could be really good. Now the salmon does come along with a potato and vegetable side. Let's see how the potato is. Oh yeah, that's actually really good. A wonderful texture to this potato, a nice crispy exterior from a shallow fry, but a boiled like soft center. It's really satisfying to eat. A simple but generous seasoning here really lets you appreciate the starchy flavors of that potato. Now if you dip these potatoes into the puttanesca sauce, you're able to get an additional layer of flavor, really adding to the depth of the overall dish. I actually really like those potatoes, that's a good one. Now the other side to try from the salmon, as well as the last bite from this round of entrees, is going to be the broccoli. Let's see how this is. Oh yeah, that's just fine. A good cook to the broccoli there. It's soft, been cooked all the way through, but it's still relatively firm. It's also been well seasoned, and I had a bit of that puttanesca sauce on it, providing that additional flavor. It's broccoli, it's been well cooked, it tastes great, no complaints. Alright everyone, now that's going to do it for all the food today. I'm starting to get pretty stuffed here, so just a couple more bites and we'll get a box for all of this to go, and then we'll go in on some dessert next. Don't go anywhere because sweets are coming up. Welcome back everyone. Now it's definitely time for some dessert, and I decided to go with the affogato today. This is espresso with ice cream as well as some whipped cream here. I've got a nice amount on the spoon. Let's give it a taste. Oh yeah, it's very good. This is exactly the dessert I needed after a heavy meal like this. I can already feel the energy pick me up coming from that espresso. A nice mild bitterness to that espresso flavor. It's very good. And that bitter is definitely smoothed out by a lot of that creamy flavor from the vanilla ice cream. Just a very good dessert here. It's not ultra sweet, which I appreciate a lot, because you have those bitter flavors really helping to mellow out the overall dessert. The whipped cream certainly provides a nice airy sweetness here. And this one's doing really nicely for me. I'm a fan of this dessert. Alright everyone, now unfortunately my outro file got corrupted, so I'll be leaving you with the check today. Meal came out to about $264 before tip, and I certainly enjoyed myself. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on Saturday with a brand new video. See ya!